My name is Tim Carter. This is a lesson for our Cornell University. Having some limitations with my voice, so I returned to some of my old background of simplicity, which was difficult when we were solving problems, whether it be in a company or in an educational, academic environment. The key was to demonstrate how clear or simple something could be done, and Einstein once said that those who can't explain something simply enough is because, or simply, they just don't understand it well enough. So this has always been a challenge, and this quote, "Simplicity is the ultimate sophistication," is attributed to Leonardo da Vinci. Now I have no idea, I have no reason to doubt that, but so tonight, this was a lesson for tonight. We're having a lot of kids with weather and things, so we won't be having the actual class tonight, so I went ahead and made this video. But in the book of Galatians, Galatianism is simply someone adding one of 613 law codes. So it was the least thing that could be added to the gospel. So Galatianism is the irreducible addition to the gospel that would nullify it, which demonstrates the brilliance of the Holy Spirit and his inspiration of that letter. He goes ahead and shows that these people just one thing, and it was circumcision. So of the 613 law codes and all the many ways and infinite ways those could be interpreted, applied, and reapplied, and kept with all your heart, your soul, your mind, your body, and your strength, the diversity of those, Galatianism demonstrates that anything added to the gospel is actually a subtraction of it, and it's no longer the gospel. That's very profound, and it's very simple. The Galatianism is irrefutable because it already takes the least thing that can be added, one thing, just one thing that can be added. It's no longer the gospel. So today, people that add to the faith of Christ their good behavior, their good works, their future endeavors, they ignore the letter, the book of Galatians entirely, not knowing that the brilliance of that book has already addressed just what if you add one thing. So if you add one thing to the gospel, it becomes less than, that's a little mathematical sign, less than the gospel. So now we can kind of box that up, package it, as people say, and then we can put the rest of our sign, we can put does not equal, and this is the true gospel. So once this is done, Galatianism already refutes. So when someone says, well, don't you believe it's possible that a person would no longer stand right before God? Well, the only way that's possible is if you accept Galatianism, which is to add one thing, and that one thing the Bible's already refuted. Now again, simplicity, how can you improve upon Galatianism and its refutation as it was refuted by the Holy Spirit who inspired Paul, who was sent away from Jesus himself to teach us? So the power of understanding Galatianism is that the argument's over. If just one thing of the 613 infinitely applied things that could have been added, if just one of those is too much, because it then becomes less than the gospel, which is no longer equal to the gospel. And then if a person says, well, what's true faith? Well, faith means support. Means support. Means support. So if someone says, well, I believe in Jesus plus my good works, plus my good behavior, plus my good walk or whatever future endeavor, then that becomes less than faith. Now we can package that. There we go. And that no longer equals faith. So less than the gospel is not equal to the gospel, just with the minimum. Now think about that. The irreducible amount that could be added is one thing. The Holy Spirit inspires Paul as he penned that letter to those churches in that southern region of Galatia. And Paul is beside himself. He's saying, let them be accursed. He wished these people would go ahead and cut themselves off. That is, if circumcision is an advantage, then amputation would be the ultimate advantage. He says that a little leaven leavens a whole lump. Well, that was the smallest amount of leaven, one thing. And then he went on to say that those people who were telling those churches to add this one thing. He said they weren't even keeping the law, and no one that advocates law is a keeper of the law. They're just wanting to modify the message. Paul said they're agitating you, all that is modifying the message. So this is very profound, and to truly understand Galatianism is to understand the brilliance of God himself. He's already refuted that if you add just one thing, it's no longer the gospel. And if you add something to the support of the true gospel, it's no longer faith. So less than faith is not faith, less than the gospel is not the gospel. And you have a blessed day, because simplicity is the ultimate sophistication, and God gave the most simple expression of the dangers. And for us who guard the gospel, as a guardian of the gospel, I only need to remember and learn that to add one thing makes this no thing. It's no longer the gospel. And to lack support by trusting in something other than the faith of Christ. First, it's not the gospel. Secondly, you're not exercising or demonstrating a willingness to believe into Jesus Christ in order that you might be justified out from his faith. But Galatianism is a brilliant thing, and that's enough to know about it. That there's actually a book inspired in the New Testament that demonstrates what if you add one thing. So you have a blessed day and enjoy this lesson for Cornell University.